Hey, good evening, or good afternoon, or good morning. I'm Kevin, your teacher, and today I'm going to go through Unit 1 or Lesson 1 of the British Film course. This is for everyone who is in quarantine right now, couldn't make it to class. This is basically the lesson that I gave in class. What's going to happen? I'm going to talk you through the PPT and the materials we use for class. You can read them and whatever. I'm going to tell you about the movie that you're going to watch in this class, the film you're going to watch in this class. And next week, there'll be a shorter video to discuss like the working class. So first up, let's look at what we did in class. Well, the first thing you have to do is you have to log on to, I'll give you this code. This code takes you to a Google form where you fill in your name and your ID number. This is for attendance, so I can say you went to class. It's great. And when you've done that, we'll move on to the next thing. There's some basic things we're going to do in this class. The first thing is we're going to look at some vocabulary for this unit. The second thing is we're going to look at what this unit is about. This unit is about mainstream British films. And we're going to think about that, and then we're going to discuss it a little bit. And then finally, we're going to choose the film. Okay, so first of all, we're going to look at the next link. This link will take you to Quizlet. Quizlet is a vocabulary site. Click on the link and go to the site. I have a simple exercise for you. You're going to play a matching game. To play the matching game, click on this link here. Okay, so to play this matching game, you match the words with their meanings. Try it as many times as you can. If you can get 15 seconds or less, then take a screenshot, share it with me. Show it to me when you see me. Okay, pause this video. Practice the Quizlet. When you've got 15 seconds or less, come back. Okay, so you've looked at the vocabulary. Great. Now we're going to look at mainstream British films. Here I have 4 examples of mainstream British films. Okay? So these 4 examples, they actually match a lot of the vocabulary you just looked at. They're franchises. Because there's many different films. There are prequels and sequels. And they're mainstream because they're very successful. To be honest, if you have seen a British film in a movie theatre in Taiwan, it's probably a mainstream film. Because only mainstream films are basically the ones that make money, make lots of money, and you're more likely to see films that have made lots of money. They're very popular around the world. Now, if we look at these films, how British are they? Well, first things first, the writer. Each of these films are based on books by British writers. Okay? Now, the writers were British. How about the directors, the people that made the film? Well, the truth is, for some of them, say you've got James Bond, some directors were British, some were not. For Harry Potter, some directors were British, some American, one was Spanish. Bridget Jones, I think all the directors were British. Lord of the Rings, the director was from New Zealand. So, they don't have to always have a British director to be British. Let's talk about the lead actor. Saying James Bond, generally they were British, from England or from Scotland. One of them was from Ireland, one of them was from Australia. But usually they were British. In Harry Potter, all of the actors were British pretty much. All the children in it, Harry and the others, they were British. In Bridget Jones, the lead actor was actually American, even though she played British. And in Lord of the Rings, well, there were many British. I think the lead actors were American, actually. At least some of them. Or Australian, or whatever. So lead actors can be British, are sometimes British, sometimes not. How about location? Now location is where the films are made. Harry Potter, Bridget Jones, they were both made in Britain, in British studios and British locations. Lord of the Rings was actually made entirely in New Zealand, even though it's supposed to be a fantasy land. It was made in New Zealand. And James Bond, well, important scenes are made in Britain. He lives in Britain. But usually it takes place all over the world, in Africa, South America, North America, Asia, all around the world. So lastly, setting. Well, James Bond, it takes place, the locations are all around the world, and he is all around the world. Harry Potter is set in England. It's also set kind of in a magic world, which doesn't exist. Bridget Jones is all in England. And Lord of the Rings, it's actually, well, it's a magic world, but it's kind of based on Britain. So we can see what makes a British film seems to be the writer. Because the other things can be British, but may not be. So what we're going to do, I'm going to give you the choice of 2 British films, and you're going to look at them. Actually, I'll give you the choice of... I have some British films. You can look at these 2 British films. We will choose which one to watch. And next week, I'll send you a short follow-up exercise to finish this. Okay, so for now, bye-bye.